Hey, okay, we'll see if I can make this short. So Aladdin and his Wonder Lamp. If you notice, the colors in the thumbnail are not the same with the clips. Yeah, there's a reason for that. I wish I had noticed it sooner. The original 1906 hand-tinted version is in the description box. I encourage you to watch it. I also encourage you to compare it to the clips that I used in my critique. Because in the critique I said vibrant colors, and obviously those are muddied. This just proves what I have been ranting about for some time. Yeah, so this is the thing. Somebody actually took the time to colorize a film that was already colorized by Capellani and his staff back in 1906. And it got me to thinking, did somebody see the black and white version of Trip to the Moon and decide to colorize that with this muddy process? It's already colorized. It shows ignorance, and honestly, it shows stupidity at its best. I can't believe that I have to explain this, but I feel like I have to. See, because I learned things in art school, something that apparently these people don't know. First of all, there is no passion in this process. All they do is they take the film, they put it in a computer that has no brain, and they walk away. And then they come back and they obviously don't watch the film because that much is obvious with the version of Psycho. The woman looks like a lizard. Okay? Now, first of all, one thing that we learned in college was backup. Backup, 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 backup. George Méliès and Max Sennett were notorious for having backups. But even at that, in art school, and before you make fun of art school, remember that Freddie Mercury went to art school. But even at that, while you're watching Umbrella Academy, remember Gerard Way went to art school. So I'm getting really tired of people making fun of art school and not realizing who actually went. So, I went to art school, interacted with a lot of film students, but even learning a bunch of things through critiquing these films, George Méliès and Max Sennett especially, they backed up their film reels. A lot of these people would have several different copies of their reels. And, they would have their home reels, they would have their studio reels, they would have the premiere reels, they would have this reel, they would have that reel. Well, with George Méliès, of course, with hand tinting, you would have several different copies because if you're hand tinting, you gotta have... I can't believe I have to explain this. Okay, with the hand tinting process, which is a lot more personal than this muddy piece of shit version. With the hand tinting process, of course, we all know that when you look at it, there's all those different windows. Those are called cells. And there were people that would sit and they would hand paint on each cell. And that's why it was jittery. You would look and it would kind of jitter a little bit. And it's because people would hand tint. They were hand painting. They put their mark on that film. Unlike this... Anyway, I've already said... So yeah, it was jittery. And it's because these people were painting. Hours and hours. I'm sure they had cricks in their necks and everything. Well, the other thing to understand is there were times where they would color these films and they decided they didn't like the color. It's like, no, I don't like the color process as much. It just didn't look good. But then they decided, well, maybe it would look good in sepia tone. Maybe it would look good in blue tone. Maybe it would look good in this tone or that tone or this. It was the infancy of film, and they were experimenting. I remember when I was doing studio photography and we were told to experiment with light. We were also in another class, and we were told to experiment. Whenever we would put our stuff in Photoshop, it was like, well, what would this look in black and white? What would it look in this? And what would it look in this tone and that? And yeah, we would experiment all the time. Be it lighting, be it this, be it that, be it the other. And it's not a new process, kids. Okay, but back then, film was in infancy. Georges Méliès loved color, and it shows. I mean, he had like Joan of Arc and a bunch of others, but not every single film was in color for him. And just like I said with that last film, the House of the Devil, was that the one? The next year he did another one that was in color, and they keep getting confused. Another thing to take into consideration is like Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers has a color version. It's not lost, as far as I know. It is not marked as lost. But I can't find it online anywhere to watch. If I ever find it, it will be placed in the description for that film. Three Musketeers with Douglas Fairbanks. Right now, the only one that I can find is the black and white version. So you can't just take into consideration that because you can only see the black and white version, it's only ever been in black and white. Use common sense, people. Just like I said, if Douglas Fairbanks wanted his stuff in color, he would have put it in color. It was same. So yeah, I mean, Douglas Fairbanks put his work in color, obviously. Three Musketeers has a color version. So, oh my gosh. So, yeah, because Georges Méliès was doing it since like the Victorian era, since the turn of the century. And then to have Douglas Fairbanks do it with a couple of his movies, and of course you had the movies that were had selective scenes in it, like Phantom of the Opera. I don't get it. It's just very irritating. Anyway, so in closing, because I don't want to make this too long, I can. Aladdin and his Wonder Lamp, I'm not going to fix it, the critique. I'm not going to fix the critique as much as I want to. Trust me, I talked with myself about that. It's just a long editing process. It really is. But the original is in there and is in the description box, and it gives you more of an idea of what I've been ranting about if you watch that one and then look at the process in what I use. It's just, it's very irritating. Anyway, I will say this on a final note. One, the Victorian process has passion because people actually took the time to paint those cells. Now they're just dropping the film into a computer and walking away. That's not passion. No. Second of all, these people are taking films that are already colorized. That's a waste of time. That's like me taking a poster of Captain America or my Newsies movie poster and colorizing it. It's already color. Anyway, yeah, I've ranted enough about it. So anyway, the color version is there. You can watch that. I encourage that you do.